Whether it's a lager or an ale, whether it's a stout, light, dark, or pale. If you can brew it, Chad can review it. It's time for Chad's Beer Reviews. He's not quite an amateur, not quite a connoisseur, but regardless of the brewer, he's got taste in beer for sure.
You can tell just by his gut, this guy is a bona fide beer nut.
So whether it's a porter or an IPA, whether it's from Europe or the USA, if you can brew it, Chad can review it. It's time for Chad's Beer Reviews.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day Eve. Every year around St. Patrick's Day, I try to do some Irish or Irish-themed beers. And for this year, I'm starting off with a fake Irish beer. This is George Killian's Irish Red. I remember way back in the 90s when it first came out, I always thought this was actually imported from Ireland. It's made by Coors in Golden, Colorado. Or Miller Coors Molson, as I should say. Now, the story behind this beer is that, okay, yeah, it was originally made in Ireland up until 1956. Then they sold the recipe to a brewery in France, who then sold the recipe to Coors in the early 90s. In fact, the French version is actually in the Michael Jackson Great Beer Guide. You see Pelforth George Killian's. The bottle's different. Not sure about the color until I pour it. But this is an actual Irish red ale. Whereas this right here is just another amber lager. So it's basically a fizzy yellow beer except darker. I used to drink this all the time back in the late 90s. I remember liking it more than fizzy yellow beer. But I haven't had it since then. So I don't know what to expect. Whoa, wasn't expecting that much foam off of a fizzy lager. And as you can see, I'm using my Coors Light tumbler here because it's made by Coors, and what the heck, I haven't used this thing in a long time. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I got a nice looking beer now. I don't know why I had all that fizz at first. I think I've been having a problem with that lately. But actually that gave me an opportunity to give you a close-up of the beer here. And you know what? Actually, that is a pretty color. It is amber, more on the copper side, I guess. I think on camera it looks more of like a maroon, but it's a little lighter than that. So that's where they get away with calling it Irish Red, even though it's a lager. Decent head on there. It's off-white, kind of foamy, frothy aroma. Yeah, not much there. I mean, it kind of smells. Kind of smells like a Yuengling that hasn't been skunked. I mean, you're getting typical lager qualities. I mean, there's hardly anything to smell here at all. So, hopefully there's something to taste. Yeah, you're getting some nice kind of touch of malty sweetness and a nice toasted cereal grain kind of flavor in there. Reminds me actually a lot of kind of like a British style ale. It does seem to have the kind of watery and kind of fizziness of a macro lager, which is what it actually is. It's surprisingly smooth. I have to say that. I am actually quite impressed by how kind of soft it is in the mouth. Medium bodied, definitely. This is not that light of a beer. At least as far as mouthfeel and all that stuff. I do that kind of like little bit of a almost a metallic kind of tang you get like in Coors Light. Or like a Bock. That's kind of what this drink's like. Maybe that's more accurate, is a Bock instead of an amber lager, but you know, maybe we're splitting hairs on styles here. So anyways, just gonna take a short break. I'll be right back with our final thoughts. Cheers. Alright, I'm back finishing up the George Killian's Irish Red, not Coors Light. Although it does seem to have a little bit of Coors Light kind of qualities. Do get a little bit of that kind of macro lager kind of taste and sensation in the finish and the aftertaste. But you know what? I'm actually genuinely surprised by how not bad this beer is. If that's any whatever. Not a whole lot going on here as far as flavor. I do like, there's like, you know, like a slight toasted cereal kind of malt thing going on. So there's like, and it's a slight touch of kind of an English style yeast strain where you get like a little bit of like red apple or something, but all that stuff, it's like very, very subdued. That being said, there's not a whole lot about it that's like, you know, pushing me away, turning me off or anything like that. Drinkability on it is pretty good. It's nice and smooth. Not overly carbonated, but it's a little crisp. It's thicker than a macro lager, so it doesn't have like that macro lager kind of sensation in your mouth or in the aftertaste. Yeah, so you know what? I'm actually surprised by how not bad this beer is. And I'm honestly going to give it a thumbs up, but just barely. I'm going to give the George Killian's Irish Red a 6 out of 10. It's above average, okay beer. If you're a fan of this beer, this is a good gateway beer now to jump up to something better, to a real Irish Red, like maybe O'Hara's Irish Red. Because you're not getting a whole lot of character out of this beer. Drinkability on it, though, is pretty good until it warms up. I was already drinking it warm, and now in the last few swigs, they were practically room temperature. So it did have a lot kind of macro lager kind of qualities to it. Yeah, so I'm rambling here. Again, 6 out of 10 for George Killian's Irish Red by Coors. Thanks for watching this episode of Chad's Beer Reviews, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Somebody brewed it, Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.